This Sportsnet Central update is presented by Drayton Resort and Casino.
Well, we got drama in Brooklyn. Not only did they lose tonight to Chicago, but earlier today, they fired Steve Nash after a 2-5 start. This was his third season with the Brooklyn Nets. Just lasted 7 games. But more impressively, I guess, more shocking, is that they hired Ime Udoka, who was suspended for the season by the Boston Celtics. The Celtics said, you know what? Brooklyn, you can have him. It's okay. Of course, he led the Celtics to the NBA Finals a season ago against the Warriors. So he will be named the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets to try to fix KD and Kyrie. Let's hear from Steve Kerr on the Nash firing.
Well, Steve Nash is a good friend of mine. So more than anything, I feel for Steve, and I think he has all the qualities to be a brilliant coach. Brilliant. But it was a good reminder to me, and I think to all coaches, that we are all at the whim of players, front offices, ownership. You really need a solid situation in which to thrive as a coach in this league. Eric's got one here. I've got one in Golden State. We're really lucky. You throw either one of us in that situation, we wouldn't have done any better than Steve. And that's the truth. As a really good friend of mine, I feel bad for Steve, but I also know that if he ever wants to get back in this thing, he could be great. Just needs a more stable environment.
Nick Friedel, a.k.a. Cousin Nick. That's how we know him on the roast, Fezzi and Mully. KD said he was shocked by Nash's decision to leave, said it was weighing on him during the day.
Hold on.
I enjoyed coming to work with Steve. As from Kevin Durant, of course, former two-time champ with the Golden State Warriors.
I'm confused. Well, that would make sense to me, because that's what Steve Nash has been his entire career. Every teammate he's had, every coach he's played for, love and adore him. He's a humble superstar like Steph Curry and Tim Duncan. So he deserved better. A lot of uncontrollable circumstances around him. And Steve Kerr said he feels bad for him. I actually feel good for him. I think he deserves way better. Yeah. And if another opportunity comes and he wants to get back into coaching, he'll do a wonderful job. But that was just uncontrollable circumstances, borderline a circus atmosphere.
Right. Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn, Mully's hometown, Festus.
What do I want to talk about with this situation? Because I'm really confused by that tweet, because I thought earlier in the season he was asking for his firing. So I don't want to get into all
that. Was his hand-selected head coach.
Well, the wording, sometimes, I've been let go with different jobs, right? So sometimes, you part ways. But did Steve walk away? Was he for? Who knows the dynamics? The fact of the matter was, his tenure was, surrounded by Kyrie playing the only home game, or the whole all the things around Steve. And when he actually had the talent on the court, they almost went to the NBA Finals.
Right.
So tough situation. Steve Nash deserves better. Better off he takes a little break and figures out what he wants to do.
Are you shocked Ime Udoka is going to be coach of them?
I'm actually happy for him. My Nigerian brother over there. And, obviously with the situation going on in Boston.
Going to have a fun time. Actually, they can have a fun time. The Kings are in town to take on the Heat tomorrow. But you see Max Strus off the bench, 24 big points, 4 threes. Jimmy Butler, 23 points. Got going there in the second half, 8 assists as well. And don't sleep on Duncan Robinson's contribution. 17 points off the bench, including 5 threes to offset Steph Curry's 10th career regular season triple-double with 23 points, 13 rebounds, 13 assists. Steve Kerr's going to have a lot to say about this one. Let's hear from the head coach of the Warriors, presented by BMW.
Your bench was, cumulatively, very minus again today. I guess just what did you see from that whole unit that remains kind of unsuccessful right now?
Well, we're still finding our way, as a bench unit, and still, looking at combinations and learning a lot here in the early part of the season. So all in all, I was really pleased with the effort. I thought the guys played well enough to win. We didn't close the game. I give Miami credit. They stifled us in that last 5 minutes with their zone, and they were super active in it. And so we've got to look at that. I expect we'll see some more of that. But Miami we knew they were going to be competitive and like they always are, but especially coming in at 2-5 and playing a home game. So we got their best punch in that fourth quarter, and we just couldn't quite close the deal. But I'm really happy with our progress as a team, and the bench stuff, the young guys, that'll all play itself out, and we'll be okay.
Steve, I was going to ask about that fourth quarter. They outscored you 15-13, and I can't remember if it was the Charlotte or Detroit game, but Draymond made a comment of usually you guys are able to close out those tight games down the stretch. What has changed, I guess, and particularly in this game? I know you mentioned the zone defense for Miami.
Well, 30-15. I mean, 30 points is too much. It's too many, I should say. And 15, we got to do better than that. So, we played, I think, a really solid 3 quarters of two-way basketball, and then a lot of mistakes in the fourth. So every team is different. This is not last year's team. This is not the team from 2015 or 17 or 18. It's a new team. So we just have to find our way. And as I said, I really liked the fight tonight, and I liked a lot of the things we did. And if we keep playing like that and clean a couple things up, we're going to be in good shape.
To kind of your favorite subject, replay review, what did you think about the overturned foul late, and how much of an impact did you feel like
I didn't see a replay. So, you're talking about the out of bounds play?
I'm talking about the foul on Steph. Catch 3.
Oh, yeah. I didn't get a good enough look at it, but usually if a guy gets the ball first on a block, then anything goes. So I expected that one to be overturned.
Rough start for James. Looked a little better in the third quarter. What'd you see from him tonight?
Yeah, James bounced back really well. And this is all part of it for him being a young guy and, playing in these intense games. Did a really good job responding. Played a good third quarter. I thought Moses came in, did an excellent job too. Aggressively looked to shoot when he was open and competed out there. And so those guys did a nice job tonight.
They called 3 carries on Jordan. Did you know that was maybe going to be an emphasis going into the game, or what did you just think about that?
I guess there was an email that went out today, and honestly, I didn't check my email. We got a game today. I'm not looking at emails. So I was shocked because basically the whole league does that. They've been doing it ever since Allen Iverson convinced the referees that it wasn't a carry. It is a carry. What Jordan does is a carry, but the whole league's been doing it. So I guess I got to start checking my email on game days.
All right, the Warriors 3-5 on the season. You hear from Steve Kerr addressing the traveling and the carries by Jordan Poole. Let's take a look at it because the refs were on it today. And as Steve Kerr said, you can call it on the entire league. We're just not accustomed to seeing it called. You see one right there. That's the right call, right, Lily?
Yeah,
up
he
and
left
down.
his feet. That's it, up and down. Yeah, that's simple.
Right there, they call him for a carry. Jordan Poole.
Point of emphasis today, huh?
No doubt.
Today? Just today?
They said you got an email
Tomorrow you can carry?
Dwayne Dedman right there called for a travel. Quick whistles here. There's another carry by Jordan Poole.
He does come over the top.
And then there's been a lot of it under scrutiny this season, of course, in the NBA. Travel right there by Kyle
That's the
Lowry.
Fred Flintstone yabba-dabba-do step.
And then, of course, right here, that was a loss.
That's 6
ran.
steps.
That's an obvious one. But right here on the break.
This is obvious.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's obvious.
Yeah, he's serving dinner over there.
So all 3 calls on Jordan Poole were appropriate.
Calls are appropriate. I don't remember the last time I've ever seen somebody get 3 carry calls in one game. So obviously that email, whatever Steve Kerr got this morning, was really poignant. They really wanted to point out this emphasis, whatever it is that they were trying to prove today. They proved it. Okay, they got the calls.
I think it's strange that it goes out 7 games into the season on a game day, and the next game is 7 of them or 8 of them.
Right.
It's a very strange transaction to me. But they were clearly carries. I think for the Warriors, it shouldn't be that big a problem because they emphasize using the dribble, 2-3 dribbles, 0.5 basketball, move the basketball. So in a way, it could work to their advantage. And on the flip, on defense, I think that's a lot of times they get beat because some of these guys have incredible ball handling skills, but also some of them are so good because they get to hold the ball and watch where the defense goes as they're palming it and then go the other way.
Right.
So maybe it'll help them on the defensive end as well.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We're going to check out the bench scoring production coming up on the other side with the youngsters, James Wiseman, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga with the DNP. But look, this is the 7th straight game the Warriors have given up at least 116 points. This is actually the low total, 116. They've got to play some defense as they're outscored 30-15 in the fourth quarter.